If you have visited Shanghai, Beijing, and Zhangjiajie, I would highly recommend Yunnan as your next China destination. Yunnan is a province in southwestern China. It is the most diverse Chinese province in terms of landscapes, ethnic minority culture, and ancient towns. I spent more than 2 weeks in Yunnan, going from Kunming, Dali, Lijiang, Tiger Leaping Gorge, and Shangri-La. I would recommend following this route as you gradually increase in elevation to reduce the chance of altitude sickness. I took a high-speed train from Dali to Lijiang. The journey of 157 kilometers took about 2 hours 20 minutes, which is relatively slow as the train occasionally completely stops to let opposite direction trains pass due to being a single track line. From Lijiang Station, there is a shuttle bus that brings you to Lijiang Ancient Town for 4 renminbi. The bus is waiting 100 meters away at the car park left of the station exit. The bus journey of 10 kilometers will take 30 minutes. Alternatively, you can get a DD taxi. The ancient town area is a car-free zone, so you have to make your way to the hotel on foot. I stayed pretty much in the center of the ancient town, but you could opt for a hotel outside as well. The small hotel I stayed at has a beautiful courtyard filled with blooming flowers and a small rooftop photo spot overlooking Jade Dragon Snow Mountain. For the first day, I would recommend visiting Jade Dragon Snow Mountain, or also known as Yulong Snow Mountain, located 32 kilometers north of Lijiang Ancient Town. I decided to take a DD taxi as I wanted to go very early before 7 am. The ride took close to 1 hour. There are buses and shared vans that go from north of Lijiang Ancient Town, but I think they start at 7 am. About 10 kilometers from the entrance, you have to pay a fee of 100 renminbi to enter the park. You also need to buy a separate combo ticket online at least 3 days in advance through trip.com as it is limited. Search for Yulong Snow Mountain and look for Glacier Park. There are 2 more areas called Spruce Meadows and Yak Plain, which are lower areas. Don't pick those. The ticket covers Glacier Park cable car, Blue Moon Valley, and Impression Lijiang Show. Trip.com will send an additional email to you 1 day before the actual visit date indicating your assigned cable car boarding time and the time for the Impression Lijiang Show. Mine are 10:30 am for cable car and 2:50 pm for the show. At the visitor center, there are winter jacket rental and oxygen cans for sale. However, do buy at least 1 oxygen can back in Lijiang for 10 renminbi, as those sold here are 30 to 40 renminbi each. There are also several food and convenience stores if you need some food. Since my cable car slot is 10:30 am, I went to visit Blue Moon Valley first. This map shows the location of the attractions and the sequence for my visit. Basically, I will have to return to the visitor center each time after going to Blue Moon Valley and the cable car station. Impressions Lijiang is located just next to the visitor center. From the visitor center, the bus will bring you to the furthest section of Blue Moon Valley in about 12 minutes. From here, you can explore on foot the downward path along the 4 lakes one after another that made up Blue Moon Valley. There are small shuttles available, but it is not necessary as it is not a long walk. They are divided by obviously artificial looking small waterfalls and terraces. From what I read, the lakes are originally real, but were artificially enhanced to improve the look and water flow. If you can ignore the fact they don't look natural, the whole area is still very picturesque, with nearby Jade Dragon Snow Mountain making a breathtaking backdrop against the lakes. The water flow thus originates from melting snow and glaciers of the Jade Dragon Snow Mountain, which contains minerals and copper that results in the vibrant turquoise color. If you like to see beautiful natural lakes, do check out my 九寨沟 video. At one of the lakes, you can take photo while riding a yak, which is a long-haired, ox-like animal native to the Himalayan region. It costs Renminbi 50. In total, you will need minimum 2 hours from starting at the visitor center until you can get back to it. If your cable car slot is before 10 AM, you should only visit Blue Moon Valley after going to Glacier Park. At the end of the walking path, you can catch the bus back to the visitor center. The ride takes 12 minutes. The area outside of the visitor center have more restaurants if you are hungry or if you want to find a place to wait for the cable car. Only go into Glacier Park ropeway queue area 5 to 10 minutes before your time slot, as they won't let you board if you are too early. Once inside, you still have to wait 15 to 20 minutes at a seated waiting area as they let batches of people through to catch the bus. The bus ride to the cable car lower stations takes 10 minutes. Again, more queuing while you wait for your turn to get on the cable car. This notice warns that it may take 1 to 1.5 hour queue for the cable car both up and down during peak season, though I waited about 20 minutes each way. A bit on the oxygen can that you should have brought along. If you continuously use it, it can only last a few minutes, so you should only take a few breaths every few minutes, and you should definitely buy 1 or 2 cans as it helps reduce the risk of altitude sickness. The 10 minutes cable car ride will bring you to the Glacier Park upper station at 4,506 meters high. Glacier Park would have snow year-round, but with the least during summer season. From here, you can hike 533 meters drop of wooden plank stairs that will bring you up to 4,680 meters elevation. Due to the thin oxygen at this elevation, it will take you about 40 minutes going up, faster coming down. Jade Dragon Snow Mountain or Yulong Snow Mountain consists of 13 peaks, with San Zidou being the highest with an altitude of 5,600 meters, and it is the southernmost glacier in the northern hemisphere. Do take note that you are not allowed to climb over the walking path, and hence you can't really walk in the snow itself. There are a little bit of snow at the viewing area since it snowed the day before, but otherwise don't expect to get in contact with snow here. Do make sure to put on sunscreen and wear a hat as you will get sunburn easily at this altitude. Going down, you have to queue for the cable car again, which took about 20 minutes, but during peak season could exceed 1 hour wait. Then followed by the bus to the visitor center. In total, it took a bit more than 3 hours starting from visitor center until I get back. The last activity is watching Impressions Lijiang. The show takes place at the venue just opposite the road from the visitor center. It is an outdoor open-air singing and dancing performance directed by Zhang Yimou. While it is free sitting, go in at least 10 minutes earlier and choose a seat higher up instead of closer to the stage if you want to take photos with the mountain like this. If you sit close to the stage, which is the lower section, the stage would obstruct the view of the mountain. The show lasts about 1 hour. It is about music, dance, and traditions of Yunnan Nasi ethnic group, featuring 100 local performers and a dozen horses. Having seen the Fox Ferry show at Tianmen Mountain, which I would rate a 8.5 out of 10, I would say Impressions Lijiang is only a 7 in my personal opinion. It doesn't have an elaborate stage effects, dance, choreography, and settings. It does, however, feature live singing, and on a clear day, the mountain backdrop is gorgeous. After the show ends, catch the number 101 bus from beside the visitor center back to Lijiang Ancient Town North Entrance. Costs only 15 Renminbi and takes 1 hour. It will stop about 100 meters from the water view area, and that concludes the first day in Lijiang. For the second day, I recommend visiting the Black Dragon Pool and spending the rest of the day exploring Lijiang Ancient Town, which is shown as the dotted line area. Start at the northern end of Lijiang Ancient Town, where you will find the water view area. From here, it is about 1 kilometer walk towards north direction, or 20 minutes to reach the south entrance of Black Dragon Pool Park. This is the best place to take photos of Jade Dragon Snow Mountain from Lijiang, with the mountain's reflection on the pool together with beautiful Ming Dynasty buildings and pavilions. There are two pools in the park. The first that you encounter is Black Dragon Pool, also known as Clear Pool. It is the deeper 15-meter pool of the two and is best place to take photos. The second shallower 0.5 meter pool is located northeast of the first pool. The park isn't that big. You only need about 1.5 hours for the visit. Besides taking photos of the mountain, there are some pavilions within the park to explore. This one, called Five Phoenix Pavilion, has a small collection of artifacts related to local Nasi ethnic group. Especially fascinating are exhibits that shows the use of their unique Dongba pictographic script. It is a complex system of over 1,400 unique pictographs similar to Egyptian hieroglyphs. There are also pictures documenting the unique architectures found in Lijiang. However, there are no English explanation for the displays. If you continue to walk towards the North Gate exit, you will find the Dongba Culture Museum, also known as Lijiang City Museum, just outside the gate. It is a small museum housing cultural items related to local Nasi ethnic groups such as paintings, calligraphy, traditional clothing, displays of old living quarters, and religious or belief practices. The great thing is that most of the displays have English explanation, which helps a lot for foreign visitors. You will probably just spend half an hour here. After finishing the visit, just walk south back to Lijiang Ancient Town. This is a map of the places of interest in Lijiang Ancient Town. I will show most of them in this video. Throughout my 4 days in Lijiang Ancient Town, I did not see any halal restaurant. I did notice one East Muslim restaurant in Google Maps, so I mark it here. Lijiang Ancient Town is probably the most famous ancient town in China, known for its stunning UNESCO-recognized blend of Nasi ethnic minority culture, charming canals, cobblestone streets, traditional architecture, and vibrant nightlife, all set against the backdrop of the stunning Jade Dragon Snow Mountain. It is located on Yunnan Plateau with an elevation of 2,400 meters. Most of its population are Nasi ethnic minority. It certainly is a pretty place, but do expect that it is very touristy, with basically every building being either a hotel, shops, bars, or restaurant. The small alleys are maze-like, so I would recommend always knowing your direction in relation to landmarks such as Sifang Square or Moose Residence. Starting with Sifang Square, this is the historical heart of the town and a bustling marketplace where 4 main streets converge. There are nothing too special about the shops, restaurants, or bars around the square, so it is mainly useful as a landmark reference. However, it is worth dropping by around 7:30 p.m. as there is a daily bonfire or square dance led by ethnic Nasi ladies, provided it isn't raining. Visitors can join in the dance as well. Towards the southwest of Sifang Square is Moose Residence. It is just about 10 minutes walk away. Several alleys leading towards it are beautifully decorated with colored umbrellas hanging above it. Moose Residence is often called the miniature Forbidden City, and this was the residence of the hereditary Nasi chieftains. It served as the political and cultural center for the Nasi people for about 470 years during Ming and Qing dynasties. At its peak, Most residents covered an area over 16 acres and consisted of almost 100 buildings blending Nasi, Han and Tibetan styles. Walking further in, you will discover more halls, towers and corridors. Within most residences, you can climb up buildings such as Yunnan Tower to get a nice view of Lijiang ancient town and Jade Dragon Snow Mountain in the distance. After passing several buildings, follow the directions to Jade Garden entrance, which directs you to an elevated crossing above some street. Continue further until you reach the highest building, which is named Sanqing Hall. Here you can climb up to the highest floor to get a panoramic view of most residents' central axis and a large section of Lijiang ancient town. From the view here, one can get the sense of why it is called a miniature forbidden city. From Sanqing Hall, there is a nearby path that brings you further higher up to Lion Hill. This is the highest point in Lijiang ancient town. Located here is the landmark building Wangu Tower, which is a 5-story, 33 meters wooden pavilion. There are 4 pairs of different stone lions at 4 sides of the pavilion and the stone stairs leading to its main entrance. Climb up to the top floor and you will get the highest panoramic view of Lijiang ancient town in the east, Jade Dragon Snow Mountain in the north, Lijiang New Town in the west, and villages in the south. A quick reminder to help like and subscribe to my channel for the next travel video. From here, instead of walking back through most residents on your right, take the path on your left which brings you down to Sifang Square. All along the way, you will find bars that offer the nice signature roof views of the ancient town. This can be an alternative if you don't want to visit most residents or Wangu Tower, but still want to see the town from higher ground. Do note the drinks are more expensive here. From Sifang Square, walking north, you will find Xinhua Street or the Bar Street. It's the most decorated street in Lijiang and nicely lighted up at night. I'm not really a bar person, so I just walk past after dinner time. So it is still pretty early in the evening and the bars are still fairly empty. All the bars would have live music, though I think mostly Mandarin or Cantonese songs. At the far north end of the bar street is the large water view. This is the north end of Lijiang ancient town and where you'll find 2 large water views. You would have passed by this place in the morning going to Black Dragon Pool Park. It's also here that you'll find KFC, McDonald's, Pizza Hut and Starbucks. Some other random highlights. This is Dashi Qiao. It is an old stone bridge in the middle of the town, located near beautifully decorated restaurants by some stream. There is this cafe called Pixie Cafe that has a pig in front. A bit gimmicky, so I didn't get a drink here. Instead, I got pastry and coffee at this pastry shop beside the Lijiang Mall. As I mentioned, non-Chinese food is not easy to find. Other than this, I would just recommend randomly explore the alleys and streets. There are plenty of food, snacks, drinks, tea, clothing, souvenir, traditional products and costume rental shops to discover, though you might find them repetitive as well. I will summarize a couple of local or Yunnan food that you might want to try at later part of this video. If you like to take photos without the crowds, you can come out at around 8 AM and this is how the streets and alleys look like up until 9 AM. Most of the shops do not open until close to 10 AM. After that, the town is packed with tourists as Lijiang is popular all year round. And this concludes the second day plan. For the third day, I recommend visiting 2 nearby ancient towns named Shuhe and Baisha located north of Lijiang ancient town. Shuhe is closer of the two, about 7.7 kilometers away. Taking DD taxi from north of Lijiang ancient town will take about 24 minutes. This is a map of the notable places in Shuhe. Other than these spots, I would just recommend randomly explore the various streets and alleys. I entered through the north gate shown in the map, but the main entrance is at the south. Shuhe is the earliest settlement of Nasi people, earlier than Lijiang ancient town. It is said to be the birthplace of Mu family, which ruled over Nasi people, and you have visited their palace the day before. Think Shuhe as the smaller and quieter version of Lijiang, with similar ancient town feel and small streams flowing through it. At the northeast corner of the town is Jiuding Longtan, which is a small peaceful park. It is also the start of the stream flowing through the town. During my visit, I could see several couples taking their wedding photo shoot here. I would consider the park and the buildings in this area as the most photogenic spot in the town. As you walk further south, you will find various shops and cafes beside some of the clearest stream I have seen. I find the shops in Shuhe to be more diverse than those found in Lijiang. Those in Lijiang seems to have many stores selling the same stuff, so it is a nicer experience to explore the shops in Shuhe. There are also quite a few cafes that looks like good places to sit and relax. Walking south, you would reach Qianlong Bridge and then Sifang Street. Qianlong Bridge is the oldest stone bridge in the town, built during Ming Dynasty 400 years ago. Sifang Street is the market square in the center of Shuhe village, just like the one in Lijiang. However, the nightly dance here happens at another location, which I will show later. The next location is Flying Tees Water, where you will find a pool surrounded by restaurants, cafes, bars, and shops. If you prefer a quieter town to stay while still being close to Lijiang, Shuhe would be the better choice than Baisha. Hotels are available in both towns. Personally, I would still prefer staying in Lijiang. Further south, you will reach Sifang Ting Yin. This looks like a music square that has bonfire dancing like what you see in Lijiang. There are a lot of locals offering horse ride tour going through the town. You will be able to explore most of the town within 3 hours, as it is a much smaller town. Add in an hour for lunch before going to Baisha ancient town. After lunch, take DD taxi to Baisha ancient town located 6.8 kilometers further north. The ride will take about 18 minutes. Baisha ancient town is the smallest of the 3 ancient towns, with only one main street and a couple of small lanes. Beyond these areas, you will find people's home. On the main street, there are about 2 dozen cafes offering sitting on upper floor where you can take photo with Jade Dragon Snow Mountain and the town as backdrop. Since Baisha is the furthest north, you will get the clearest view of the mountain while still being in a town. This is the town's main selling point. All the cafes would require you to purchase a drink before allowing you to go up to their first floor photo spot. Usually, they would have photos or videos at the entrance showing how the view would look like. I did found this clothing shop that you can go up to the first floor without any purchase. I couldn't read Chinese, so I can't pronounce the store name. Alternatively, you can just get tea or coffee at one of the cafes. In Baisha, you can also visit the Baisha Mural Museum. The Dabaozi Palace and several other buildings are located in the same area. Outside each of the buildings have a short explanation in English what the displays or exhibit inside are about, but the explanation text in the buildings are in Chinese only. The first building shows Dongba pictographic script and what looks like cave drawings, as well as photos of the Baisha murals. Dabaozi Palace is where the actual Baisha murals are located. There are no photos allowed inside to protect the murals. However, they have put up replica photos at the entrance so that you can capture those instead. The murals are painted 300 years ago from early Ming Dynasty to early Qing Dynasty, depicting Buddhist religious themes. There are a few more buildings in the area, but some are closed at the time. You will be able to explore all of Baisha town in less than 3 hours. As it is a much smaller town, I do not recommend staying here as you might not have enough to do in the evening. So I would recommend staying in Lijiang as the first choice, or Shuhe if you prefer a quieter place. Once done, take Didi taxi back to Lijiang, which is about 11.8 km away and will take 32 minutes. Let me share some of the local Yunnan food that you can try and what I personally rate them. First is crushed rice noodles, originated from a wife who brought her husband lunch every day. She kept the ingredients and noodles separate from the broth to keep them warm. Due to the varied mix of ingredients, I don't think it compares well against a more flavor-focused noodle dish. Second is the mushroom hot pot, which I enjoyed eating. Yunnan has an abundance of wild mushroom species, hence eating mushroom hot pot is a must try here. Salted pork ribs hot pot is a hot pot featuring pork preserved in salt, wine and sugar. However, I find it too salty, which is due to the meat being preserved in salt. Yak rib stew on the other hand is amazing, mostly found in Shangri-La City as this is a Tibetan dish. Very tender and flavorful. Similarly, yak meat stir fry with mushroom is tasty too. This is more like a street snack. Flower cakes can be found throughout Yunnan. It is either filled with edible flowers such as roses, magnolia, chrysanthemum, or sesame peanuts, walnuts. Baba is a thick, soft bread served either plain or with various fillings like minced pork or red bean paste. Rusan is a type of fried milk cheese snack. Sometimes they are coated with sweet paste, more commonly found in Dali. Lastly, I list out the cost of the activities and transportation for reference. Do pause if you like to have a look. Hope this information helps for your trip to Yunnan. A quick reminder to help like and subscribe to my channel.